Hi, it's Sarah again. And I was realizing today that I transitioned outside of the trans community, which is kind of rare and maybe different, and partly why I feel different from many other trans people I met. When I transitioned, I didn't know how to get hormones. I didn't even know about laser electrolysis, any of those things. I just had this sudden need to transition that came about because of a lot of life stresses at the time. Now, 15 years ago, I did think about transitioning. I actually dated a trans woman. I sort of knew trans stuff a long time ago. It's very different than now. Back then, hormones were different and more dangerous if you were going to transition. It required more approvals, and generally people transitioned with surgeries and everything else, and that weren't the options there are now. So I transitioned at work a month before I even got on hormones and started electrolysis. I had no concept of what hormones would do. And I read about it. It was like, whoa, it does way more than I thought. And it really did way more than I thought. Like, both psychologically and physically, the changes have been way more than I ever imagined. Everything is so much better. And the interesting part is, like, before transition, I seem to be a little bit on the spectrum. But I'm a lot more socially engaged now and not, which is weird because a lot of the trans community is very sort of spectrum-y. Like, a lot of the stereotypes are like D&D and sort of geek culture, which has a spectrum-y aspect to it, Magic the Gathering. None of those things are any of my interests now. Like, I'm a lot less geeky post-transition than I was pre-transition. And pre-transition was largely because my kid was into those things. So it's interesting to be, like, now sort of getting into myself and sort of being in this different space than the community that I'm sort of part of. Although it feels like I'll probably just blend in to stealth at some point, not necessarily for safety or anything else, but just out of comfort, which is kind of weird. So anyways, that's my rant for today. I'm on my way home from dropping off my kid at school and just figured that recording a video while driving is an interesting way to, like, both focus on voice, but also see how I sound in a slightly more relaxed state than when I'm, like, looking at myself on the computer.